You'll be fine.
I'm here. What?
So many things are wrong now. Ah, what happened to my life? Okay, there we go. Okay, we have a Kramer. He has audio. We're late. Not my fault for a change. It's totally never my fault. Let's think about things and stuff and Marines.
This is a beautiful setup, by the way.
I think it's the best layout we've ever had.
Fantastic. I got my salamander backgrounds, and I did make a salamander's army, by the way.
I've got the best subfaction behind me, Imperial Fists.
I mean, first off, let's talk about Negative
That's
Nancy.
the best win, Drew.
Best bleh, subfaction so far. Go. I'm gonna start with Nancy in the top right.
Gladius attachment.
Oh, what a plain Jane. Settle down, pumpkin spice latte.
I just like the tactical flexibility, and it allows you to do literally everything that all the other detachments can do, and you still have the best enhancement of bolter drill, or whatever it's called now.
Kramer?
I'm going to go with the flaming one, the fire one. I think that you're going to spam aggressors like a madman and just delete things.
I can see that. Hold on, Matt coming in with a $5 super chat. Raven Guard time. At last. I feel like I have to do the Sith on that. At last we'll reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we'll have our revenge.
Their character got a freaking huge buff. Old Shrike now gives out lone operative to his whole squad.
Yes.
He did before. That hasn't changed.
Yeah, but he can
we're
do...
talking about now, though.
We're say he can actually do some stuff. So... What do you got, Playmaker? What's your favorite? Also, I'm putting on my colorblinds here. This light is hurting my face.
Vanguard is definitely my favorite in general. I think Iron Hands will probably be the one I play the most, though.
You got to run those Astreuses. So
got to run those Astreuses.
3 Astreuses, baby.
I don't have yet. I gotta get on that.
I'm a big fan. I'm sad that you don't have that. Snigs has one. He's leaving you behind.
Only one?
Yeah, exactly. My bad. He also has like one of every other random jank big ass thing too. So
are they the actual models or are they just 3D prints?
Well, I don't
Mine
know.
are legit.
One of the Australians down in the basement is legit for sure. But he has random. Who knows? I also don't care. I don't. How you think I'm gonna tell the difference? Like I can tell by the weight of the model of that it's made of lead instead of uranium. Or whatever.
That's why they cost so much.
Goddamn uranium models. But my first...
I used to joke with people. You can tell the difference between Forge World and third-party recast. Real easy. Because the third-party recast, all the barrels were straight.
Oh!
That is surprisingly accurate.
Yeah, true.
All the recasts are much better quality in molds. It's insane. So, Brad, what's your favorite detachment?
It's Vanguard. It's hard for me not to want to go old school when I brought, 8th edition Raven Guard to LVO with 4 deploying assault centurions. And I can kind of make that happen again. I really want a lieutenant, a captain, I guess a strike master, with a giant unit of Death Knight Terminators. Sitting 9 inches away from you, just going, what? Like, shit's about to happen, yo. Also, you've got some, also, that's just a sick enhancement, by the way. So, also, execute and redeploy is pretty sick. It's Phobos only, but I think I'm probably going to bring a unit of infiltrators anyways. So, having these dudes, kind of be able to shank around doesn't seem super... nonsense. Also, I was trying to work out with some Death Watch stuff, but I haven't really worked as much with that yet. But like,
So,
go ahead.
sorry, you said you're talking about the redeploy one, right? The one that puts it back into strategic reserves.
It's the one that just gives you a normal move.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. The one that either
It's
flat
fire and
6
fade.
or D6. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what I could do with Phobos. I mean, you can do it probably better with a Death Watch team, but I wasn't thinking of it as a fire and fade. I was thinking of it as more as a extra movement. I was debating on whether it was worth it because I don't really want my character to be on that. But you can just kind of zoom around, get to things. You can score objectives more. It really depends on the price of the character with it. To be perfectly honest with you, so I was debating on whether that was worth it.
So here's a question for you. In the Ultramarines, Captain Sicarius has that ability built into his data sheet. Could you stack these two and do them twice?
Well, we can't give enhancements to named characters.
I mean, if you give it to a apothecary who's riding next to him.
That was what I was going to say. You can do it with a squad, but then it becomes a little bit more of an investment. So you want to make it something that you really want to either keep alive or get into the fray. Because there's a couple of these that I was like bouncing around with, and and the thing is that the biggest thing that I was looking at, and we talked about it a little bit before all this stuff went live, but my first go-to list for this was multiple gladiators, 3 units of inceptors, a big unit of something. I don't even care. You know what I mean? Just be it Terminators, be it a 20-man unit of Black Templar guys. But like that's kind of where my head went with a lot of the lists I made, which was straight up, I took at least 1 unit of infiltrators. I took 1 big unit of stuff, you know what I mean? I don't care if it was Terminators, whatnot, slammed them in because you can just hide. You just pick that great place. And I'm biased a little bit on this because I'm either thinking to myself, player place terrain, or I'm thinking GW terrain. And there's a lot of great places to just jam something in. Whether you go first or second, you're still dominating that midfield or the left or right flank of the midfield, and you're not getting any shots at you because you just tuck into those little corners and you're just scaring the shit out of your opponent. You know what I mean? You can really get in there. And the infiltrators, I don't know, man, it's just with the captain on the board just jamming down and doing the +1 is pretty nuts on that. And so I thought that was a big deal, plus the surgical strike from the shadows where you don't get any you get the precision where you can take shit out. Like that's just an auto win if you can snipe out all the characters from certain units, be it Necrod
All
units.
you're carrying their buffs?
Yeah, you just blast people. So there's some pretty good thing, and the thing is that the what's the strat that gives me a +1 to hit, +1 to AP for an infantry unit is a big deal on that, man. Like you especially when you're talking about possibly having a Terminator unit or even just trash units on that, because you can give lethal hits. Eloise is apparently losing her mind in the background.
She is.
So, but there's a big thing on just like slamming a billion lethal hits on somebody and giving me +1 on that. Now, can I use that on just I'm trying to look through these real quick. I apologize, guys. To make sure, but can you only do it in shooting? Is the strat just for shooting on that?
Yes, during your shooting phase, infantry only.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just want to make sure. You know what I mean? But like -1 to hit like all over the place, and you have with the tanks that are already difficult to take out, and having something to push forward now, and having some more damaging shooting. I just think that you can make like a really good list out of it. I made a couple lists of that with Terminators, Inceptors, Gladiator tanks, and Infiltrators doing some shenanigans. It's fairly nasty. I actually was debating on trying to make some Centurions work, but I was making so many lists that I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole also.
I don't think you can attach a character to Centurions to make it work.
Correct.
True.
There are no characters that attach to Centurions.
Well, in my mind, because they said they were going to be able to attach to more stuff. You don't know that?
Well,
Yeah.
they can. I mean, you could attach way more characters to like Blade Guard and Devastator squads now than you could before.
Oh, yay, Blade Guard.
Yeah, I
Well,
said the
Vanguard are
same
like
thing on
90
that,
points
Kramer.
for 3, so they're not bad.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say
Oh, okay.
if I could put a Phobos Lieutenant in my Blade Guard, I'd run them all day.
But yeah, you can't do that.
Just give me that Phobos keyword somehow.
This is a good question on that.
Just Sharpie into the book. Yeah, you're there.
The Bill comes in with a noob question. He goes, with the Space Marine Codex out, should Blood Angels still use their index, or should they just choose a Codex detachment? I would just use the Stormlands.
Yeah, 1000% Stormlands.
Yeah, it's just advance and charge with good strats is a real thing. Now, do we want to go to that, or we want to hit some more Vanguard stuff? Because I think that there's more stuff to dig into here with Vanguard, but we can just rock into
I think before we do anything, we should just do a breakdown of each of the detachments.
100%. So you have the one you're not going to take.
I don't think Gladius is bad.
No. The Gladius is
Gladius
fine.
is fantastic.
Oh, you're what's
The first company you're
First
never
company.
taking.
Oh,
You're never taking first company, and you're never taking the Imperial Fist one. Because you'll never be able to use their ability.
That's a lie. Because
I disagree strongly on that one.
You would totally bring if the playmaker over here brings his triple Astreus list, he's fucking slamming that shit down into not moving and getting plus to go screw yourself. That thing is
It's going
pretty
to be fantastic when he scores 0 points on objectives.
You won't have any models though.
Because he
right,
can't see.
won't.
He can't see anything.
3 whirlwinds don't care.
You only played on player place terrain, and pray your opponent's bad. It's worked for me every time.
That's a terrible plan. Just can we
3
all
whirlwinds.
acknowledge this is a terrible plan?
Dude, I'm 2-1 of the list. It can't be that bad.
I mean, the fact is the Anvil Siege Force does have Matt's correct on that. The Anvil Siege has some serious strats though too. So I don't know
Also
how
has
often they
3 whirlwinds.
Well, I'm just saying I don't know how often you're going to use it. I think that indirect for sure obviously gets that benefit. So
there's not enough indirect in Space Marines now to really justify it.
yeah, but with their strats, do you not think you can make any of that work?
Maybe
So-
I kind of just glossed over it. Now, if Desolators go down in points, I mean, Desolators would also benefit from that very well.
I was supposed to say, let's just go back to 120.
I mean, also
They're not.
Let's talk about the fact that Hail of Vengeance exists. That thing's nuts. If you make a mistake at all, like, hey, I lost a guy in the squad. Looks like I'm shooting you in the face. I mean, it's not going to work all the time, but that is a real thing. You know what I mean? So
Can they start to take plasma pistols?
you just kill yourself and
Try
then
and
shoot. That is true. Kramer wants to take it. That would be awesome. You take a hazardous test just to kill yourself to do it old school style. That was sister time.
Well, you do it with Hellblasters, right? So, like, you kill yourself, and then the guys die, and then you shoot again with the guys who died, and then you can activate the unit and shoot them.
Yeah.
So you get 2 activations of shooting potentially.
You can. They've got a bunch of stuff that's very, very situationally dependent, but it could be nuts. You know what I mean? I mean, Bolter Joe Recall is legit. Crit hits on 5s and sustain hits. It's a hell of a drug. They really need something that makes them count as stationary. That would be a big deal, to be honest with you. If you could double up and have somebody count as stationary and then do this shit.
So you're saying if we could get the buffs but not take the penalties, it'd be
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 40k as a default is a movement-based game. Why would I want to stay stationary?
I agree with that. I think that's the biggest flaw whenever it comes to Imperial Fist. Is like we're giving everything heavy and we're depending on staying still to get our heavy bonus in a game that's all about movement. Especially in 10th where we're playing our tactical objectives where you have to be moving to constantly score. I just don't think it's viable. You're going to have tons of like jank, really fun, cool lists with it that just aren't going to play the game.
I mean, I wish they were better, to be honest with you, because no threat too great is a nut strat too. Just straight up saying you're rerolling all the wounds against a monster vehicle.
Especially with Oath getting nerfed into the ground.
Lyle, YouTube super chat won't let me send an eggplant emoji. No, I'm saying. Then you're mad. That would be tough, though. You could basically go for it and just go, I'm going to put all of my transports out and hope that you don't blow them up or kill the stuff inside. Then I'll be stationary the next turn.
I do love some impulsor spam.
Yeah, but at that point, you could just do it with salamanders, right? Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree that
Just
it's probably
play
better.
salamanders.
Well, let's go through them. Like Mike wanted to talk through. We'll just go through them in order. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So Gladius didn't change, so it just is what it is. It is what it is. But the Anvil Siege Force is what we were talking about. It has really cool rules, sans the fact that the game is literally, as you said before, based around movement. So I think it's going to be less valuable. You are going to have some versions, and I think when we get more and more data slates, if you get more indirect, it's also going to be one of those ones that you might come back to. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Imagine if you played more into fortifications. That would be crazy.
Hammerfall Bunker might be a real thing.
175 points. Yes, it is.
I mean, the thing is,
they nerfed it. They actually
well-
changed the rules on it. It doesn't shoot nearly as many times as it used to.
Well, now I'm sad. I didn't read that part. I just saw 175. Got happy.
yeah, Lyle Gaylord got beat this
Usually-
morning, didn't he? He got beat by a Ultramarines player.
Yep.
So the thing is that I think that as we get more stuff, I think that Anvil Siege Force will probably see more play as we get more toys. You know what I mean? So that's a big deal on that. What do you think about the Iron Hands one? The Iron Storm Spearhead.
I think it's the third best one.
Yeah.
I think
The
it's a fun-
the
I think
ability
it's
to
a fun
reroll
one.
To hit to wound or damage for every unit, MSU spam, hugely awesome.
The problem with that is that because they simplified the Space Marine book, you just don't get those weapon options to really take a benefit of it. Like, what are you going to do? Reroll a hit on a grenade launcher from your intercessors? Like, who cares?
So I'm thinking more of just playing like a walking castle with it. Maybe 2 Dread Knights, and then once again all gladiators because I love my tanks. And then we have the Tech Marine with the enhancement.
I mean,
So like I'm not
So
looking
what-
at
so
MSU
what-
for it as much.
What are the best vehicles that benefit from lethal hits? Because I was trying to think about this this morning.
Reaper for
Gladiator
sure.
Reapers.
Gladiator Reaper. Gladiator, anything with volume, all the assault cannon versions, anything that's just putting out a lot of shots. Period.
I think it's the Predator Annihilator that has the
And the double heavy bolters. You can break double heavy bolters on stuff. Heavy bolters with lethal hits are actually fantastic.
the Astraeus.
I mean, you're not wrong. Repulsor Executioner like is wildly better with lethal hits.
Yes.
It's got 1 billion trash shots.
The Hammerhead.
Land Raider Crusader doesn't hate it either.
100%. Yeah, you got the quad assault, deals on it, so it's just got 1 million shots. Anything with like a ton of shots. I mean, making people take saves is a hell of a drug. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Plus, they have the 10-point enhancement for a 4 feel no pain on a character. That's like badass, to be honest.
I was saying the same thing earlier, Lyle.
It's finally October. I wanted to get all ready for the spooky seasons. Otherwise, I don't have good lighting in my house. This is the best I could do.
Now,
guys.
you literally had such an option because you could have went. Kramer delayed us so much that you actually died.
Delayed you by like minutes. My stupid microphone was apparently on strike.
You don't know how long he lives. He's like a mayfly. He has 24 hours. That's all he got.
I haven't been to bed yet, Kramer. I'm tired.
So
that sounds like a personal
we
problem.
do have to say
Sleeping for the week.
that we got to remember that. Remember, everyone, that Armor Contempt carries over to all of these, and that's a stratagem that you're going to be using just nonstop. It's just so good, anyways. So that's just one of those things that it is there. I like a couple of things are really nice in here. Mercy's weakness. Again, exploding sixes is just a real thing, and some of these guys are making a crit on 5s. You know what I mean? I thought that was a big deal. You know what I mean? Just getting a volume of shots into people, lethal hits is big on this. Also, I do want to talk about the fact that we can put in characters to units that we couldn't put in before. So you can get some buffs that you couldn't in before. So any of those units that just puts out a lot of just volume of anything with lethal hits is just a real thing. Making your opponent just make a shit ton of saves is still a viable strategy, whatever the AP might be. You know what I mean? And like, cool, if you got a 2 or 3 up save, make 1,000 saves. You're like,
Yeah.
You're gonna fail some of these, bro. You know what I mean?
And that's why I think the Gladius attachment's still fantastic, because it has bolter drill, or it's called something new now, but it's still a fantastic
Fire
enhancement. Like,
discipline.
Yeah.
what's it called?
Fire discipline.
Yeah. You could just slap that on a apothecary, put in a unit of eradicators or a unit of aggressors, and it pulls all the trash immediately. And it's still super cheap. I mean, you have some deployment issues because you have to either put in a transport, walk it up the table, or deep strike it with Uriel Ventress, but it's still a very good choice.
So let's talk about the Firestorm Assault, because I was back and forth on this, because some of the things seem really good, but they're a little limited. Like, I was bonkers town about Champions Humanity, the enhancement, until I realized it could only go on a Tacticus.
Yeah.
So I don't know if,
Ooh, I
yeah,
missed that.
but it's really good. You know what I mean? So
What is the enhancement?
it makes you just ignore everything effectively for your unit.
Ignore modifiers.
Yeah, at all of them. So
Like Trajan.
it's a big deal in that, because it's any and all modifiers, and you also ignore like characteristic changes and shit like that, so people can't nerf you. I don't know if I can make it work with a Tacticus. I was back and forth on this.
So what units are Tacticus? Is that all the power armor Primaris models?
Yes, all your regular power armor.
Yep, all your regular power armor.
So like, no Gravis, no Phobos, no Termes. So all the good stuff.
All the
Yes.
ones you really want to put it on.
I can put it on my Bolter Intercessors.
You can put on Hellblasters,
Ooh.
Desolators, or Sternguard.
Hellblast and Sternguard I can see working.
I can see Hellblasters. I don't think with Sterncard, with the change they got, I don't think so.
Yeah, they did nerf
Oh,
Sternguard a
really?
little bit.
Yeah, but I want to go with a couple of the enhancements, because I did think that the enhancements for my salamanders, whatever, it's Firestorm Assault, I thought they were really good. Like, for Adamantine Mantle was nice defensive, but I don't know if I want to play. But Forged in Battle is bonkers town, dude. You a single hitter saving throw to 6 every turn for 15 points is legit. You know what I mean? I was trying to figure out if you could get some shenanigans with that, if you could put some devastating wounds on things. Obviously, you can use it as a save every turn, which is always good. You know what I mean?
Is it battle round or is it like player turn?
I'm pretty certain it's player turn.
It's player turn. So
Okay.
twice a player round. You know what I mean? You do this, you can use that. You basically get 10 6s with this if this guy survives the whole time and is interacting with the game. So
Yeah, you just put it with that command squad. You can make sure that your command squad heavy bolter always has at least one sustained hit.
Mastercrafted Heavy Bolter, it's damage 3.
fuck off with that
So-
command squad. I was so mad about that, by the way. I thought that
I was talking to Brad yesterday at like 10:30 about that command squad. He's like, "That is pointless." I'm like, "Yeah."
I was so mad about it. Because I thought the command squad was going to be like, because I got really excited about it. Because one, they're cool. You cannot deny that they're
Amazing
cool. Yes, they're cool.
Super cool models.
Right. And I thought they were going to be like the Deathwing command squad, where you could just dump Terminators and stuff on them. You know what I mean? Like they did. So I was like, oh, you take that command squad and you add it to it like a Dark Commune or a Deathwing command, and you put it with a unit.
Yeah, it'd be
Nope.
fantastic then. You know,
You know,
like
Brad, one of the things I appreciate the most about you is how blissful you can be to the truth. We all knew that wasn't happening.
But it could have happened, and it would have been awesome, and it would have been awesome.
Whatever you say, champ.
Oh god.
you know, having some random chuds just be able to join like a 20-man Crusader squad would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Also, man, Templars still just got some juice. I thought I made a Templar army in pretty much all of these detachments, and they all got better than Gladius. So
Yeah.
Templars on top.
they did. The multi-melta on the gladiators, the big squads, the infills. We'll go back to that in a minute because we're just going in an order on this. But
Sword Brethren just, hi, we're here.
yeah, that's a
Good
big
word.
deal, man. So also the strats for Crucible Battle is bonkers town, dude. +1 to wound against the closest eligible target within 6. And it works in shooting
Yeah.
and the fight phase.
Yeah.
+1 to wound's a hell of a drug. It's half the reason I ran salamanders for so long. It's good. +1 to wound, and you're like, yes, I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do with my CP? That I'm gonna do that. I'm going to make myself +1 to wound. That seems good. You know how often I'm going to do it? As many times as I have CP. I'm going to make it rain +1 to wound.
So a lot of your strategies, Brad, rely on command points, obviously, because the stratagems are so good.
Mm-hmm.
What methods are you using to actually get command points? Because right now there's only what? There's Gilman, there's Azrael, and Dante.
I gotta
Those are
look
the
at
only.
Somewhere.
I didn't get to see because I don't have a copy, so I had to go off all the leaks and releases. You know what I mean? So I don't know how many of these are battle tactics. So a lot of this is going to revolve around whether I can spam them with my captain. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's a big deal on that. So I wasn't 100% sure whiches are which. Shout out to Scary. I think he probably had the best cast.
100%.
But it was still, hard to see, and he didn't mention each and every one, or it would have taken like 17 hours. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
but it depends on whether a lot of them are battle tactics and stuff like that. Because you got to figure if those are battle tactics, that's saving me 1 to 2 CP a turn. You know what I mean? Because I can zero it up each time. You know what I mean? So that's a big deal. So it really depends on which ones are battle tactics on that for me, or I'm gonna have to try to shenanigans in more ways for CP.
Yeah, Matt said that like 5 out of the 6 for the Sally detachment was battle tactics. So
5 out of 6.
All
Thanks,
of
Matt.
them if you want.
Yeah. Well, then that actually makes a big deal. So you basically, I'm gonna run Vulcan. If I'm doing like a salamander, I'm gonna run Vulcan, and I'm gonna run
Yep.
probably another captain somewhere, and I'm gonna spam.
Yeah, you're gonna take a Gravis captain and attach him to some aggressors.
mhm.
So thanks, guys. I appreciate that. And the biggest thing about that is that I think that I'm going to spam the +1, to be honest with you. And I think I can make that. I think that in itself, to be honest, makes a detachment. I know that sounds silly, but like, I think that one strat right there, that me kind of spamming it on that, is a big deal on that. Also, while I wished it was the old school, which it was, but +1 to strength and the ability to just drop down mortals. And I know you're like, it's too expensive at 2 CP, but
Well, that's one of the battle tactics.
I was saying it's battle static guide. So you can I can flame you up and do a considerable amount of mortals, and I think that you're going to be doing a lot of jumping out. I'm probably going to run the list that I made. I was jumping out of 2 transports, and I was doing a lot of stuff off board. So I think it's a big deal. I still don't really care about battle shock tests and things of that nature, but it +1 to hit on the closest target within 12 inches with onslaught of fire. There's like some shit you can do with this. I just think you can get some serious mortals out of this. Yes, it's going to be fairly CP intensive, so you're going to have like 2 go turns on that. So, but like once you start grinding in, I think you do a turn or 2 of flame, trying to get as many mortals as possible, which I think you're going to get somewhere between 6 and 8, depending on what you're using.
Hey,
And
there's a kitty. And who's that, Kramer?
Say hello to Winston.
hello, Winston.
That's Brad's murderer.
It is. Oh, Winston has tried to kill me, by the way. Kramer sent over models one time, and apparently the cat had just laid on the container he gave me. And I was just like sitting here all red-eyed going, what the hell's happening? And I was like, oh no, Kramer tried to murder me by sending cat hair at me. My kryptonite.
I'm pretty sure that counts as terrorism, Brad, because it went across country or state lines.
Yeah,
Winston's a big
is.
fan of battle foams, and that's
So-
why I'm real happy.
Real
story.
quick, I want to go to the wall
Let's
and
go to the
sort of
wall.
talk about something that Meta Monday's talking about. He kind of wants us to discuss the Iron Hands, what we think about the infantry getting all the bonuses from open top transports.
I haven't. I tried to make that. I literally made 6 lists, and I couldn't find a list that I liked doing that yet. But I think that that's going to be pretty powerful. I just think that I haven't got to dig into it enough. GW, if you would have given me a pre-release copy of this, I would have already had some of this stuff done. But I've only had a day.
Not even. You had about 3 hours.
Yeah.
No, I started last night. I don't sleep, so I'm up pretty early doing this shit. So, but I think that there's something to be said for that. I don't know though. You know what I mean? I think that might be the go-to. Mike, what do you think about that? You've been looking at that a little bit more, just even going into this.
So, my biggest issue with it is the units that I want to do it with are limited by the size of our by our carry size. Like, I'm only getting 7 models.
Yeah.
If I just it's the extra shots. It's cool. I think I just would rather run a gladiator.
My thing on that is that with a lot of those, I think I would rather just have the Firestorm at that point in time though. Anything that I want to kind of shoot out of open top, I would rather have the bonuses of jumping out of it and using the Firestorm on it. That was kind of my go-to.
Well, the Firestorm detachment allows you to, if you just shoot at the transport and don't kill it, you can get out immediately and shoot with the unit inside.
Correct.
Which I think has some play. I mean, it gives you some extra movement, and you can definitely
Gives
position
you-
them
well,
where they're
also-
obscured.
It gives you some serious movement though, because you have like all kinds of shenanigans. Because you could actually double up on some of these. I was looking at different combos. You could get out of them when they shoot you, and then get back into another one, all not in your turn. So,
Well, how about this? You park your vehicle on the objective. They say, "Hey, I'm just going to out OC you on this." They better not shoot that transport suddenly, or you're going to have a whole more people standing there.
yeah.
So, I think a big issue with the salamanders is, especially right now in our current meta, we have armies like Tau and Eldar that have lots of movement tricks. And we're playing an army that wants to get up within 12 inches and 6 inches to play our army rules and our stratagems to their biggest effect. And because of that, like, I just don't think we're going to be able to keep up with that. Like,
yeah.
they're going to pop out, they're going to kill our transports, and
That's
Cool.
that's an issue with Space Marines. Period.
it is.
They
but I
they
think it's-
definitely have toned down the amount of movement that army could do.
Yep.
Which is why I'm kind of lamenting the new codex, is because a lot of the fast options that were cheap and effective for either taking objectives or doing secondaries are just gone.
I agree on
like-
that. Yes, but and the problem is most of the things I wanted to do, if I wanted to do them hand to hand, could possibly be done by the Stormlands. Let's go to there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, advance and charge, and then not being able to be touched because you can leave and then charge. Yeah.
I agree, Matt.
I would say Matt's got a great point with that. He goes, little worried that the Salamanders might be the trade down army. Yeah, the problem is that a lot of things that we were talking about are character plus unit combinations. And then if you're not getting value out of that trade, you are going to be trading down quite a bit. I was a little bit worried about that. Playmaker made a good point on that, which is just, you might be consistently trading down. And that is a real thing on that.
Because like your cheapest unit that you're going to have good use out of is about 285 points.
And what unit's that?
I'm thinking of aggressors with a biologist.
Yeah, there's a lot of combos that are going to be character dependent on that. The strat for +1 to wound is still legit though, so you can. I think you can. You have, if you're playing the Firestorm Salamander style, you have to be looking to how you can abuse your smaller units with +1 to wound and mortal wounds, and trying to get trade ups on things. Because if you've like flamed something, for instance, we'll just go with an aggressor, even smaller units. If you flame, get some mortal wounds, and then charge in with +1 to wound, you can take down multiple things. A wild
And
Mike
then-
appeared.
And then like another thing to consider is like, I feel like a decent amount of armies have like either like a D6 move when you get within 9 and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, cool. We're having the Marine Mirror match, something that you're going to commonly play against, and we're going to go, cool. I'm going to move within 6 to do my thing. All right, 1 CP. I'm going to move D6.
He wouldn't take the apothecary if he's taking a aggressor unit of flamers. He would take the apothecary if they have the bolters.
Yeah, sorry, that was just like the first unit that popped in my head. Sorry.
But you could take a captain and grab his armor.
I'm going to go
which
to the
is-
wall real quick. Sorry.
No, if you're taking the flamer squad, you take a captain and grab his armor, so you could make use of the immolation protocols and fish for those 6s. But you're still only averaging about 8 mortal wounds in
but
a shooting activation.
Still might be enough with then you slam into +1 to wound, you know what I mean, with big weapons.
Mhm.
So Dorian goes, should GW fact the strats that are battle tactics? It seems that they used a fix that was not planned and messed with most armies. I do think they should revisit it, because there's a lot of armies that have a shit ton of things that are battle tactics and a bunch that just don't. You know what I mean? they are wildly disparate at that point in time. Why are you focused on chasing the L's? They'll come to you. That's actually like a good thing. Also, I'm going to go back to JC or Meta Monday on this, because in a couple of my lists that I were going to talk about, I made a lot of Vanguard lists and things of that nature. I ran a lot of Inceptors. I did not run Plasma Inceptors, though. I think the Bolter Inceptors are nuts right now.
Yep.
Plasma Inceptors don't have enough shots.
It's volume of shots, plus the fact that I made them a lot in the Vanguard, though, because when I can get +1 to AP, you're talking about AP 2 with sustained hits 2, +1 to hit. You know what I mean? We still don't know if I can get a character to join them.
You can't.
I checked already. Yeah.
Boo.
I told you like 3 weeks ago.
It was like the first thing I looked at. I went, can the jump pet captain join?
No,
Nope.
I would love it if Shrike could have joined that unit.
No, there is
Make
a big
him actually
thing.
useful.
There is a big thing on the wall here to talk about the fact that I know you're saying that like you're going to chase people down and they're running away from you, but there is something to be said about just, especially when you're playing certain missions, player place terrain and stuff like that. Just don't go to the middle and control those two-side objectives and just kind of stand there. It makes it more of a boring game where you're a counterpuncher, but they have to come score. You know what I mean? They can't just do nothing. So it really depends on the mission and the board, to be perfectly honest with you. If you're making player place trade, you have to start doing that to figure out, well, what do I need? Uh-oh. What Super Champion Zach. Yay!
First time, too.
Yay.
First time. It is a big deal on that. Like, it makes a good point, because you don't want to play into your opponent's strength. So if you're just significantly slower than your opponents, which as a Marine you probably are, let's be honest, you got to start counterpunching, and you have to start dominating the board and setting up where you're going to operate from. Your game plan has to be set way in advance. You don't want to just chase fire and fading and fucking, phantasming units away. It's just annoying. But speaking of people that are pretty fast, again, Stormlance.
Yes.
Legit. Also,
I think this will be the most common one we see.
I mean, the fact that like things like Fury are pretty legit. You know what I mean? Fury of the Storm. For you talking about enhancements and stuff. Like those are good.
I've been looking at the Stormlance attachment. I just don't think it mirrors what bikes can personally do. Like if you're taking that attachment, you're taking Thunderwolves.
I'm not talking about. I'm taking 0 bikes in this army.
Yes.
Yeah, which is
literally
sad because
no
it's a white
bikes.
Scars attachment.
No,
It's a Thunderwolves attachment. Let's be real.
Exactly.
It is a Thunderwolves.
It's a Thunderwolves attachment, but it's also the thing is it's Space Wolves. Kramer and I are playing this in the doubles tournament, Michigan GT, in less than a week, and
Not this attachment.
I know, but I'm saying if we can take this detachment, whoa! Plus the literal ride hard, ride fast is bonkers town. Hey, I'm going to use my 1 CP strat for -1 to hit and wound. What did you say? Orcs are like, wait, hey guys, what was that? I heard you guys. Did you say -1 to hit also? That strat's crazy. Also, again, advance and charge. I do think the enhancements help a lot. The Fury is a big deal. You know what I mean? Adding some AP on a character with a volume of attacks, it's +1 strength and AP. But like, it's a big deal on that. So I think you can make some serious shit happen with this codex with them, or with this detachment.
Lightning Claw, the Lightning Claw pair comes real interesting then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about it, because you can have the +2 on when they charge also. So the strats on them are legit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And in the Thunderwolf squad, those claws become damage 2 on the charge.
Yep, and then you got the sustained hits 1 on the assault. You got tons of ability to reroll charges, but also lance ability.
Mado, if that happens, that detachment's dead.
Matto, if that happens,
Man, I swear to God, Matt, don't you put that evil on me. I'm playing it. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
So
no, you second. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing to see here.
Move along.
Pay no attention to the man
do
behind the
not
curtain.
look behind the curtain.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
What?
He is a man of culture right
I
there.
played that my sophomore year, one of my favorite roles.
I love everything that's happening here.
I'm proud of you, Brad. Keep up the good work.
Brad is so good at technology, guys.
We are the best at technology.
There's no
What
leap
happened? Did your
this.
internet die? Did they?
You know what? We're
did
not.
the cat get
I'm
fried
just
on the
gonna.
power line?
I'm gonna edit this shit out. I'm gonna pretend it didn't even happen. So I don't know what the hell
Can't
you
solve
guys.
the truth.
The truth is made by the people that write the histories. So, as I was saying, and never ever left at all.
I have no idea where we cut out.
Raven Wing.
we were talking about how
they could
Raven
be
Wing is
good,
bad.
but they lost all the tools that these would buff.
Yeah,
They would be doing all the good buffs, no good units.
Yep. Raven Wing is ultimately a shooting army, and all these buffs are for close combat units.
I think that when you're looking at Raven Guard, you're actually looking at their detachment, which is Vanguard, and we'll go over that in just a minute.
We're talking about
Raven
Raven
Wing.
Wing.
Raven
Dark
Wing.
Angels, Dark Angel bikes. What I was playing all 9th edition.
Oh.
Hey, at least I realized it was Raven Wing once we started talking about it.
Oh, I didn't at all. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah,
This is crazy talk.
I mean, you see all the mounted options, and you're like, yeah, that would really help Black Knights, and then you realize that Black Knights are still just awful. They're still comically overpriced for what they do.
Are we still trying to pretend about bikes now? Look at
Yes,
man.
I want bikes to be good. I own
Just
too many.
play
of
your
them.
Outriders and be happy.
It's not even
They're
an
so
outrider.
bad.
Play Stormlance Task Force. Ready? I'm sorry to burst your bubble. You know what it is? It's a Terminator and other punchy punchies. Thunderwolf Cav. Terminators. You know who's freaking awesome with that? Terminators going fast. Ricky Bobby says, "You're first or you're last. I'm gonna go fast." That shit happens. Those strats are also boss mode. You know what I'd like to do? Take some Squighog boys and put them in the Stormlance detachment so I can get that -1 to hit, -1 to wound strat.
You know what, Brad? Just for you, I'm going to model a whole unit of your Thunderwolves with lances.
Yes. Also,
You still haven't built the army yet?
Most of it.
I mean, you've got 5 days until we
You're building an
play.
army before an event.
Yeah.
What are you even doing?
Exactly.
No,
Matt, the
you know how
Celebrator
many armies
attachment.
I've painted like in hotel rooms the night before.
Damn right. That's how you're supposed to play the game.
How many of
did-
Brad's armies I've assembled in the hotel room the night before?
True story. I've been there for that. So
No, you weren't there. That was the problem.
I am way more pumped for playing Tau and Kroot than I am for playing Space Marines at the moment. I'm on the Tau bandwagon.
you are. I mean, there's a good reason to be. Tower amazing right now. But let's go back to Stormlands. That's where we died.
All right,
Yes,
so you
when
get to
put
advance
them
in
on
charge. You have the ability to put something in reserves and bring it on a turn earlier, which is pretty fantastic.
Again,
Especially,
Terminators. Turn 1 Terminators coming out of reserve.
it's mounted, Brad. It has to be a
Damn
mounted
it, that's
unit.
the mounted one. Like I said, turn 1 Thunderwolf Cav coming out of reserve.
Anything with a big footprint. Like, you could theoretically put 6 Outrider attack bikes and a chaplain coming out of reserves.
Meta Monday, you're not wrong. Tau are bonkers. Right about the time I was like, is your Overwatch even busted?
Nah, their Overwatch is overrated.
Their Overwatch is so not overrated. You get an average of 18 hits. That's so
If
good.
you're using loaded dice, maybe.
Why? 54 hits. 54 shots. You're in a Kion, you're gonna get explosions, so you get 18 hits.
Not if you roll my dice.
Well, sorry,
That is
I was
true.
going
That
off
is
my
true.
my bad. I was going off math, not Brandon's dice.
It is pretty funny. Like, I'll play games against Sean using my Tau, and like he looks at my dice that are being recorded. They just automatically start rolling like shit. And then as soon as we roll off camera, they roll average or above average.
So you say your dice are shy?
They're camera shy.
They can't
They
pay.
have performance anxiety on camera.
I remember
The
at
next
the
event I have to play you, I have to
ATC
go
cabin
hold my camera
practice,
over
those
there.
dice are pretty nasty.
All right. Are we
All
ready?
right, so
Are we ready?
Stormlands.
No. You know what? I'm skipping Stormlands. We can come back because I think this is the easiest one. I want to talk about Vanguard because it was originally the one that I wasn't super juiced about, and then I started dicking around with lists and the strat, and the enhancement, and I went, hey, I'm automatically going to take 3 units of Inceptors because 3-inch, I mean, they're already good. I got a strat that straight up says I can get +1 AP, +1 to hit. I can just take 10 big boys. I can take a 20-man Black Templar squad and infiltrate it. That shit's good.
Mm.
Like,
So are losing the vows worth it? Because don't the vows give you some pretty cool stuff?
yes, but -1 to hit over your whole army is a big deal. Yeah, it depends on what you're playing, to be honest with you, because you can just make a Black Templar army that's not really Black Templars, which is effectively you just take a bunch of gladiators, you take a big unit of bros, you probably take 2 big units of bros because you infiltrate one and then you put Helbrecht with the other. You know what I mean? And then you just kind of dominate you forward push other people's armies to keep them in the corner, put baby in the corner, and then you just win shooting engagements by taking 17% less hits.
Yeah, whenever like I thought a little bit about like Black Templars, like you mentioned earlier, and like I'm not playing Black Templars. Like the list does not function in the Black Templar detachment. It functions in the Vanguard detachment. It's just a completely different playstyle to the army.
Yeah, it's what is Panzer Bang or something? Stop this!
I think it's Kramer's chair.
Stop banging
What?
pants. But the lone opera, the Ghost Sweep cloak, is pretty sweet, by the way.
Mm.
I just
But
don't know what I'm putting.
So
on.
what character are you putting that on?
I don't know. I just thought I was like, anytime I see somebody can get stealth and lone operator, I was like, this sounds awesome. And then I'm like, well, I don't know.
Travis Captain.
Possibly, you
I'm
know what I
just
mean?
gonna put it on the cheapest character there is.
Probably, to be honest, you know what I mean? You just,
Hey, wait a minute. Does that lone operative, like, if you put on a character, does that go to the unit?
No.
What, Lyle coming in with a $2 super chat. Ride hard works on fly units also. Does it?
No, it's mounted or fly vehicles.
Is he Lyle giving you the sickness? Is mounted or fly keyword? Is it not?
It's fly vehicles.
Fly vehicles?
So land speeders. Or your planes. Because we all know how much Brad likes storm towns. So what were you saying, Kramer?
I was asking, does that Ghost Sweep cloak give lone operative to the unit then? If it's
It does
on a
not.
character?
Meta Monday. So you do take the Vanguard for the stealth part, but you're really only using that on your gladiators that are hanging back.
Well,
You're getting that +1 to save from the
it's
benefit of cover.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, to be honest with you, Mike, on that. To answer his question, to combo with it. Like when I'm looking at a list with Vanguard, I'm doing a layered approach. I have gladiators and stuff in the back, you know, my long distance things, and I'm benefiting from that cover and -1 to hit. And then I've got those forward deploying things and other things that are trying to push my opponent back. So I'm kind of layering it up. And then I've got things like Inceptors, which can play anywhere on the board because of the fact of that 3-inch drop. So you can really abuse that, and that strat's just a must-have because it really ups their killing power. And I'm definitely putting bolters on them because I want to pick up their trash. I want to pick up their lone operatives. I want to, and they're twin linked. You know what I mean? So you're effectively getting +1 to hit. Obviously, they can shoot your oath target if you want to, but like guys hitting on deuces, you know what I mean, are just a big deal on that, especially with double exploding 6s and then full twin link rerolls.
Yep, you're hitting strength 5, AP 2 damage on them.
Yep, and it's a big deal on that because you can really sneak out some stuff, and it really does make a Raven Guard-esque playstyle because you are just kind of striking from the shadows. The Inceptors are striking from the shadows. You have the infiltrating guys, but then you have that other half of your army that's doing the long range dedication. It's really abusing. Well, one, it's abusing the cover rules that are already in 10th edition, which is just make the barrel of your gun slightly behind a wall, and now you're in cover. And then you're -1 to hit. So, like, I think that you can do a lot with this detachment.
One thing that I really like about it is after your infiltrators have done their job of, like, screening out deep strikes really well that first 2 turns, then you just get to pick them up and put them anywhere you want, really.
Yeah.
Like, because it's 2 units, so those 2 units of infiltrators you're running are just going back into strategic reserve and popping back up to score secondaries.
I mean, also you have calculated feint, which is a big deal, which is the It's D6 move, and it's all Phobos, I think it is. All Phobos get a full 6-inch move when someone tries to charge you. And that could be just a game changer.
They don't get to
That's
redeclare
big.
charges after.
Well,
Yeah.
What?
There's no redeclare clause.
Yep, there's no way to clear. It's a big deal, Kramer. I mean, it's just
that's a big deal.
100%. And the thing is that you're effectively using, I mean, you're what's the old grenades? You're basically using tanglefoot grenades on people. It's
But
nuts.
better.
Yeah, but better.
Well,
Because you get movement.
but no, but think about this. It's like we used to do with that old, the Eldar and the character thing. We're like, hey, I have 2 units side by side. Are you charging both? Cool. This one's gone. Failed. I'm charging just this one. Cool. Failed.
Yeah. And the thing is Matt, to answer yours, Vanguard have to get back in the bus. The Firestorm has to get back in the bus strat. They actually have they have a get out of the bus and a get back in the bus strat. So but I think the Vanguard's got a lot of mojo. It's going to play very, very different than you think, but I think it plays I think Vanguard plays combined arms the most. Brandon, I actually think that you can make the best army that you would like to play out of this. Because your bike still sucks, so you're never going to get that.
Yeah,
But-
they're gone. They're gone.
But you can do shenanigans with it. This plays your style, which is jank. You know what I mean? You can do lots of precision strikes. I think this is the right for me right now. This is the one that calls to me because it literally says, Brad, take trash with some stuff in your backfield and come to me. It's just a big deal. Who are these nerds? Hunter Nichols in the house. But it's a big thing on that you look at that how you want to play, and the Vanguard does call to me on that because I want to take less damage. I want to be shot less, but I want to have more options. And I actually think this probably plays that more for me. Now, if you want to just get up close and personal, does the Stormlance play that? It plays that more over the whole game, but man, shaking and bacon with an infiltrating big unit. I mean, literally, you could play your Dark Angels like this, to be honest with you. You could do Inceptors, you could do Terminators. A Terminator brick with a lieutenant, I guess, in a character is just something I don't want 9 inches from my deployment zone. You know what I mean? That's just not great.
Yeah. We even do this in the Ultramarines. If you want to do like two bricks of intercessors, infiltrate one and then deep strike the other.
I mean, there's 100%. Matto makes a point in this. He's like, Marines feel like that there's a ton of builds for a B+ tier army, which is kind of cool. I agree. I actually think they're probably going to sneak into A with certains of these because I really think I can make like the Vanguard thing work. I think I can do some serious.
Well, hit us with the Vanguard list.
So like I made a list literally with 336 Inceptors. I took 4 Gladiators, and I took a block of Terminators.
Are you taking the shooting ones or the close combat ones?
I'm taking the close combat ones. I want to come up. I did. You can do both though, because I actually think that I don't care if I get into combat with Power Fist. I'm still pretty happy with that. You know what I mean? So, and I did want to think. I did think about using that in the strat because using combat bolters and shit like that felt pretty good for the strat because they're again infantry, so they can use the strat for +1 AP, +1 to hit. So just using a volume of stuff hitting on 2s. So I could see either one. And after that, I think that you're going to do some Phobos shenanigans. I'm going to take at least 1 unit of infiltrators, probably 2 to be honest with you, because I'd like to abuse some of the strats and the enhancements. Yeah, I mean, so,
I've been saying 2 forever.
It's a big deal in this because it also encounters. You're always going to see Marines in the meta. It's the most popular faction. You know what I mean, as a whole. So, building into that is a big deal. I think that I made that list and I was looking at it and I made, like I said, I made a Firestorm, I made a Stormlance, I made a couple of these Vanguards. I think you can actually make a wildly good Dark Angels list with this because Death Knight Terminators, Death Wing Knight, exactly.
Yeah.
It's Lyle, $2 super chat as I'm saying it. Get out of my mind, Lyle. Get out of my mind.
Yes. Yes, exactly that.
Well, that's the thing is I think that you can play Dark Angels really, really well. Also, you could literally take that giant command squad, the Deathwing command squad or Deathwing Knights, you know what I mean? And just slam into people. -1 damage is a hell of a drug, you know what I mean? Especially something that's forward deployed up and hard to get rid of. Man, and the thing is, it's not like you have to YOLO swaggins on somebody. You know what I mean? Just being right behind the best piece of terrain where they can't see you with a giant Terminator squad just standing next to 2 objectives and your deployment and going, feel free to bring something out. See how that goes for you. I mean, that's a really big tool there. And then you've got movement shenanigans. You can cut off there. Also, if they charge you, you can use all those defensive strats. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you have to just stand there. You can use all of that shit against them. So it's a big deal on that. So I think that you have a lot of just options, you know what I mean, to do stuff. You also have a little bit of character killing. That strat's expensive at 2 CP, but still, you can do some real things, man.
Hey,
So
draw a
do
second, mate,
we,
it could be
do
worth
we
it.
think Codex Space Marines is ranked lower than the non-compliant chapters?
No.
Yes.
You think so? Well, let's go
Yeah.
around. Let's go around the house. What? Yeah.
So the non-compliant chapters get access to all the unique units that I feel take advantage of some of the buffs more. Whereas there's just not
okay,
enough.
I'm sorry. I thought
stuff.
you were taking. I misunderstood that completely. I thought you were saying that their specifics are better than this. I was like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I think that
Oh.
almost any time a non-compliant one will be better, just because the fact you have more options. Like any option that I have in the regular Space Marine book, besides a couple named characters, I'm gonna have in the same book.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that I have to agree on that. I like I said, I thought you were saying something else, but like Space Wolves and Blood Angels are wildly better now that they have access to this. Like
For now, I mean, it's possible that they lose access as soon as their codexes come out because they're
Possibly.
getting 6 of their own unique detachments.
Yeah.
Sure, but then they get their own rules at that point in time. I'm just saying that like
Mhm.
Space Wolves in Stormlance and Space Wolves and Vanguard and Blood Angels in either seem pretty legit. Also, I wouldn't mind taking a real jump pack unit and just jamming it up somebody. They are infantry. So you just go, hey, I'm 9 inches away from you with a 12-inch move.
With pistols and chainswords, like that scares no one.
You know,
Hey, I'm 9 inches away from your tank, and
you
you're
know,
like,
you know who
"All right."
it does scare? Eldar. They don't
Not
need,
really.
they don't need that kind of hate in their lives. Just touch their whole
What do you
army.
do?
You know who doesn't
Touch
do well?
my-
You just take that warp spider, take his shirt over his head, and hockey punch him.
No, because what's going to happen, you're going to show up there, you're going to be, hey, look, I'm 9 inches away from your warp spiders and your fire prism. Okay, cool. Do as you must. You say, I'm charging. So the warp spiders overwatch. Your squad's at half strength now. You bang hopelessly on the hull of the fire prism.
You have been touched
You
too
ain't
bad by 6s from warp spiders.
We all have Kramer.
And then the
We all
intern
have.
shows up and just says, hey, that was adorable. Don't go away.
I do love. Can't be compliant if you can't read. Space Wolves.
Yeah.
Mazda, 100%. Ultramarines, Deep Strike, 6 aggressors plus Bolter plus the Bio plus Calgar. It is legit, but
That's like 500.
I was just about to say, but that's where I was going with it. But we go to earlier when the playmaker was like, well,
Yeah, that's 525.
exactly. The problem is you're going to trade down a lot with that. So you will ruin people that bring some big shit. But if they don't bring enough big shit and you kill some trash with that and stand there out in the open, you're going to be like, welp, this sucks. I do remember Forlorn Fury. It was nuts. Thunderwolves would be better. Don't you put that evil on me. Don't shit talk the Thunderwolves until after Kramer and I play them this week.
I can't wait to hear Monday with Brad going, Thunderwolves are so bad, guys. Why did Kramer talk me into bringing these?
Nope. I talked to him. He actually goes, we're going to play Eldar. And I go, or counterpoint, we bring every named Space Wolf character in 18 Thunderwolves. And he's like, done. Like,
So bad.
We're gonna
Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
we're gonna crush with
You
this.
guys are going to be amazingly drunk. That's it.
Listen, I
Wait.
can't say anything. I'm bringing 8 demon princes to an RTT the same weekend.
Rule of cool
Hey, last
always
time we did
applies.
doubles was the Ultramarine character spam, where we
Yeah.
basically looked at it and said, how many Ultramarine characters do we fit into one 2K list?
True story. We literally brought every character. We brought characters people didn't know existed because we brought Forge World characters.
No, those were all in the book.
No, they were all in the book.
Cronus is in the book.
And we
You
brought.
You know what was pretty
It's
cool
no
when
one
you guys faced against Iron Hands on an open table.
Oh, shut your face.
What table are we at? The wheat fields of Kansas. Well, this could be a problem. Who are we facing? Oh, hi, Brandon. What did you? Oh, fuck my life.
The best is when Brandon's just sitting here, literally so excited, and he just looks at us and I go, "Are any of these considered obscuring?" He's like, "That one's a hill, and that one almost got obscuring, but it's still a hill." And I was like, "Well, okay, cool." So
Hey, I offered to just give you guys a loss to go drinking, but you guys wanted to play it out. So you saw Gilman die multiple times with Thunderhammers from Sergeants with Devastator squads.
we totally wrecked. We had one turn of awesomeness, and then we didn't.
And then turn 2 happened.
Yeah, and then
So-
turn 2.
Hey, you're out in the open? Man, it would be a shame if I had nothing but anti-infantry weapons.
We were out in the open from game 1. Like, literally, had I put my solo cup on the table, that would have been better terrain than most of this.
No,
So
I-
back to Space Marine
well,
Codex.
I agree. Let's go to the wall with this with Mazda. He goes, that's true, but whirlwinds are not really nerfed. I don't think whirlwinds are ruled at all, or nerfed at all. With the half hole, lieutenants reroll ones forever on objective, clear all the trash, and the wounding 2/3s that you ingress the Calgar blob. The problem with the Calgar blob is that you're going to have matches where people are going to have a lot of trash, so you're going to have to.
That unit clears out 3 units of trash pretty effectively.
Yes, but then it's standing there. So I would like to clear some stuff off with the Inceptors and stuff like that. You basically have to make room. We've talked about this before. It's in any army, but especially with Marines, especially if you want to bring a big Death Star type unit, you have to clear area where you want to go first. So you're gonna have to put some stuff in here.
Having looked at that unit, because of Calgar, he gives the ability to advance, shoot, and charge. It's a way faster than you think it actually is.
Yeah.
So you
With
don't
the
necessarily
influence.
need to deep strike it. Like I would
I'm not even
just
saying I'm saying you just need to put a place to push it. What you don't want to be doing is hitting 10 Hormagaunts. You know what I mean? And shit like that. You don't want to be putting it. You don't want to hit my infiltrator squad. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You have to start clearing some space up. I played Drakari,
Well,
so
if
my
I-
army is trash. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I think the big thing with that Calgar block, which I really have been thinking a lot about, 'cause I love Calgar, is that you just have to make sure you have multiple, you have to be able to shoot something and charge something every turn
Yes.
to get your 500 points out of him.
And the thing is that you got to hit flanks then. I think he can work really well. If you're hitting flanks, I mean, I'm not even saying just that you have to bring him in reserve, but you want to be hitting somewhere where he's not getting a retaliation of your opponent's whole army. You want to devastate one specific piece and then put some trash in front of him, which is why I actually like the idea of putting down some Inceptors and stuff like that. It's why I like the Vanguard quite a bit on this, to be honest with you, because you can basically keep rotating through and you're taking less damage because the -1, and you've got shenanigans of moving the hell away from people, you know. So that one's got the most shenanigans, and I'm a shenanigans player, damn it.
So I think my issue with the Calgar blob is I just can't justify a quarter of my army being that.
Yeah,
You know how I feel about anything
Can you
expensive.
actually attach an apothecary, biologist, and Calgar to that unit?
Yes.
Okay. Did
Because
they change
it's-
that? Because you couldn't
Nope.
before.
you could before.
You can always have
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Because biologist is an apothecary, you can attach units with captains. He is a chapter master /
Or-
captain, so you can attach him.
All right.
Take
I would
that.
spread. I would
Yeah.
spread. I would spread the love around. I would put Calgar in a different unit.
Plus, he's got those.
We did that because you needed bolter drill.
Yeah, so he's running bolter drill plus advance and charge and shoot.
It's about sending a message. I mean, he is sending a message. Calgar's Gauntlets of Ultramar are ridiculously
They are so
gigantic.
cool.
Yes, he's just
They are
like,
so cool.
douche, bring it.
And you get two Blade Guard in that unit as well now.
I'm just thinking of the maximum amount of shit I can put in a Deathwing command squad, and then infiltrate them, and just go, I've got my army standing here. Figure it out.
You could probably fit, what, 800 points in a Deathwing command squad?
Well, you get all the Terminators, plus you get the Ancient Apothecary, and then you join a character. You can do 2 characters to it. And
You strike me.
yeah, and then you just literally have lethal hits with rerolls, -1 to hit, or -1 damage. That thing's kind of scary, to be honest. It's not really something you do want 9 inches away from you.
Yeah.
You're going to be really sad when you play against Space Marines and they have a single unit of infiltrators that just shut that down.
That's exactly what I'm doing, baby. Because here's the thing. I'm just going to win the roll-off.
It's a good plan.
That's what I did.
Plan roll 6s.
That's what I told every opponent at ATC, and I won every roll-off for first positioning.
That's all you need. I'm going to put my infiltrators down, and then I'm going to put them right behind them and just crack. So, no, but there's options there. So let's talk about some of the other things, because I actually like a aggressor. I did use the new Flamer Idiots also when I was making this when the Firestorm.
Oh, yeah, the Infernus.
Yep. The Infernus guys, I actually think I think that detachment's legit, man. I think I can make my Salamanders right again. I think that the Vanguard for me is probably the better, but I think that the Stormlance is the easiest, because if you want to play punch, Stormlance is amazing. You know what I mean? It works amazing, obviously, with most of your Space Wolves builds can just be Stormlance now. It's got good strats, advance and charge, and it's got, reserves coming in on turn 1, which
Mounted.
is just again Thunderwolf Calf. So it's legit on that. You're basically going to put a character and a Wolf Guard leader in that unit of Thunderwolves that comes out on 1, and you're going to sneak behind some piece of terrain and go, shit's going to happen in a minute. So,
do Space Wolves have any characters that allow rerollable charges?
yes.
Look at Grimnar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once per game, Grimnar can give it out to
Also,
the whole army.
well, the other guy does it too, just basically on it. So yeah, you've got Grimnar doing stuff. You've got, so you could literally have, you could do that with Vanguard also. I think Vanguard Detachment works with a lot, and Stormlance also, it does a lot of things. But it just works again. Reserves on 1 is a big deal, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So 100%. Like I think the Salamanders with the Firestorm, you can make that work. You're basically doing a combination. You're spamming. Excuse me. You're spamming +1 to wound. You're doing a very close combat, close firefight centric army, which I think works. It's expensive on some of the CP though. You know what I mean? But you're going to be looking for a decent amount of mortals, and you're going to be looking to spam that +1 to wound. So Vanguard are tricksy, and I think Stormlance works all the time. And I think if you're boring plain Jane, you can go back to Gladius.
Overall, I'd agree. I think Gladius is going to have some play, though.
Gladius does have play. Gladius has play, period. I mean, it's still just good. Goose Tech's 100%. He wants to play Space Wolves in the Iron Hands detachment, led by Bjorn and all of his Dreadnought buddies. Brandon could definitely get behind that. What do you think about that, Brandon?
That'd be fun.
I think that's the first time I heard him say he'd have fun with this codex. Guys.
Aha, we got him. Got him. But so what are your, after we talked a little bit about a few of these lists, what are your guys' thoughts on the things that we were talking about? Playability on the table, tournament wise.
I'm of the mindset that personally, I feel like if I want to go and do really good at a GT, I'm bringing Vanguard. If I want to have fun actually playing the game, I'm not going to play Vanguard, and I'm going to bring like Iron Hands.
Kramer, what about you? Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
Go ahead, Kramer.
No, I say I'm gonna start looking at trying to make an all fire list with the Salamanders detachment. If I don't really find what I'm looking for there, I also want to get my Ultramarines back on the world, and I think that's going to be coming out of probably a Gladius detachment, unfortunately. I don't know.
Both can work.
Maybe
out.
Vanguard. I could try Vanguard with Ultramarines. I have really not decided yet.
Brandon, what does your negative Nancy self tell you? I feel like we pulled you
I
from the
think you
fire.
can make a whole. I think you can make a whole lot of fun Space Marine armies that are not competitive.
Oh,
Yes.
look at this guy. He's like the Grinch that stole Christmas, but he didn't give the toys
It's a
back.
good movie.
All right. Not to be
Because
not to
you
also
can make a
join
lot
the-
of fun lists, but I don't see this competing with the top tier tournament armies.
I think it's. I'm
It's
gonna
a
steal one
mid-table
of
bowl
Brad's.
list.
I'm gonna steal one of Brad's sayings. It's not an army that's gonna win the GT, but it can definitely be the army that stops you from winning the GT.
I don't know. I think that Vanguard list, especially
Minus
for me,
Vanguard.
yeah, I just think that I could bring 4 gladiators. Like right now, I put in 2 Lancers and 2 Reapers. I put in 3 units of Deceptors, 336, 2 units of Infiltrators, and then a big block of infiltrating beatsticks. Brandon is the new
Lyle.
Crawley. Oh, super chat coming in hard.
I'm still sad that the minimum is $1, not $3.50.
350. Goddamn Loch Ness monster. But
So to Matto's point, giving Ravenwing like all the speeders, all the bikes, all the fast moving stuff, assault, I could see that being very viable. Especially since you have Turbo Boost keyword on Outriders. You could definitely get some play out of that. But I don't know. Well, it's something that's worth trying. Like I said, I think there's a whole lot of fun stuff that you could do. I just don't think it's super competitive.
I think that the list I was just saying, like that's legit, man. Like that plays against everything. Triple Inceptors, quad Gladiator, a big unit of I don't care, it doesn't even matter. You choose which one goes in front of you, Deathwing Knights, whatever, you know what I mean? Some block of hand to hand that infiltrates is, and you also have room for a lot of other crap. And then you got 2 infiltrators with that. Matto with the $5 super chat. There's going to be some stupid Imperial Fist skew lists that's going to be awesome and miserable to play against. 1,000%, because they're going to release a couple Forge World things. And they're going to.
There's one faction that will maybe accidentally get broken. It could be Imperial Fist.
Yeah. You're going to bring like triple Whirlwind and a triple Forge World Whirlwind and a triple some random other thing that they release that's indirect, and all of a sudden you have
Streuses go down to 200 points a model.
yeah.
Good thing these imaginary units don't exist yet. So do Imperial Fists have play if Desolators go down in points?
The 1,000%, yes. Yeah, 100%, dude.
Yeah.
You never move. Like as a Desolator, where the hell are you moving? Also,
What are you going to kill 5 guys? What are you going to kill 5 guys?
If they go down in points.
If they go down in points, and I have 3 units of them, yeah. So I do have to go to this because I love
a lot.
I love the name. So Mike is bad at games says.
I am.
Vanguard seems to be like a detachment that makes secondaries all the time. That maxes secondaries all the time, and I agree 1,000%. When I'm looking at that list with all the bullshit and what the playmaker was saying earlier, what Kramer was talking about earlier, pulling people off the board, shimming people around is going to allow you to score tactical very, very easily. And I still think you have a great fire bats. Also, -1 to hit is legit. You know what I mean? It's just annoying.
And to Mazda's point, like the meta right now is Monster Mash, Knights, Party Bus stuff, lots of vehicles. You're looking at a Tau list with 7 tanks in it. Like it's not having access to reroll wounds and not having that many anti-tank options is still a serious problem. And unlike other armies, Marines don't have trash anymore. All the trash units are gone.
You know what I am still taking though? Devastators of 4 grav cannons, baby.
I'm amazed those didn't get nerfed. I'm amazed.
I forgot to mention that in almost all of the lists I just said, I still have 360 points dedicated to 3 units of grav. You know why?
It's one of the best units in the army.
Anti-vehicles, hell of a drug.
So what are the trash units in the Space Marine book?
You mean trashes you can take them to throw them away, or trashes that you'll never put them on the table because you hate them?
No, move blocking. your move blocks and stuff like that. I think we're talking about.
I was gonna say, well, all the bikes that we used to have, all the land speeders you used to have, they're all in the trash.
I still need to make a sign that says Legends and put it in my display cabinet and have all the models I'm no longer able to use.
It's so many.
It's gonna need to be a big sign.
It is. Maybe I'll put lights in it.
Guys, you know how we get around this not being able to reroll wound thing?
Hmm.
We just play the first company.
Ugh.
God.
Yeah.
Or you just play Imperial Fist and don't move. To play in the open, see what happens.
Seems really bad.
Bring 3 Astraeus, you'll be
It'll
fine.
be a quick game at least.
Bring 3 Astraeuses.
But so what are the trash units? I mean, I feel like with all these Space Marine builds, you might have to take an assassin or 2 for lone operative.
I'm going to take it.
Well,
you're going to take that, but if you're taking the Vanguard, you're probably going to take the enhancement. If you're taking that, I'm also. To be perfectly honest with you, I need to see. Did we see the point? We haven't seen the actual points though, have we?
Correct.
No one scanned
the-
Did anybody?
in the Scarred cast, they have the points of the old one, but the QR code just takes you to current page.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would venture to say the points that are out are probably the most accurate right now. I don't imagine them changing them.
Agreed.
Hunter does have a point. He's like, trash. Let me introduce you to Fenrisian wolves.
Fenrisian wolves are actually really good for
Yes,
what
they are. True. New hero kit plus Captain and Raven Guard is stupid cheap for his tankiness. There's some legit things. Now, trash-wise, you're probably going to have to put some nonsense in here. I do want to see what those jump assault intercessors are. If they're less than 100, I'm taking 2 units.
90 points a model. Or not 90 points a model.
That
90
seems
points a 5-man
Playmaker.
unit.
That seems a lot. I really don't want to take my 450 point squad.
You can only run them in 10 mans. It's 900 points spread.
The new command squad and captain kit is just so many points. You're looking at probably starting at 190 points to run that, and that just seems like a lot.
We're
For
talking
something
about
that's just
trash,
so-
God damn it!
That's not
180.
trash.
No, I'm saying I'm looking for what I bring as trash, because that's one of the things that I did leave open a bit when I was making those. I was looking at all the tools, and then I left a few hundred points to figure out what I'm filling out with. Because you still have to move block, you still have to get in the way. I do think Vanguard's going to score really well. I think that you're going to score legitimately well. With Stormland still feels like something that's going to get to you and make happen. And I still think Firestorm Assault has play. Firestorm Assault is going to be the one that I really do think is going to have a good army in it. It's just going to take me some table time to figure that one out, because that one doesn't jump at you, because there's a lot of moving parts that can use mortals and +1 to wound and really abuse it. It's just, I'm going to have to put that on the board. You know what I mean? That's not one that I can go, oh, I can do this, this, and this, boom, done. That's one you're going to have to grind through. So.
Yeah.
The exact same thing, Jeremy. I'll put you on the board, Jeremy.
But
I mean, those new lieutenants with combi weapons, now that they're lone operative and they give army-wide reroll ones instead of having a 6-inch radius,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna start seeing a couple of those, 1 or 2 of those.
also, why is
And
it
how does that
army
work?
wide?
Literally just, if he's on the battlefield, everyone in your army is reroll ones?
When you're shooting at something on an objective.
Which is always. So-
Makes those
Yeah, so-
receptors that are already shooting on twos.
So you pick your objective that you want. You're in the camera. So you pick your objective that's the priority target, and when an enemy unit's on there, anyone shooting at that unit on that objective is reroll 1 to win. It used to be the lieutenant had to be within 6 inches of unit shooting at the unit on the
There's
objective.
an aura, yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is that I think that you're gonna bring a decent amount of your lone operators and stuff like that. I just think that there's stuff in here. You know what? I'm gonna say it. You know what? We're going around, and I'm gonna have Brandon answer himself. Was Brandon wrong? I think he was, because I think I'm gonna make some lists that are A tier and can win tournaments, and I am going to take Marines to the first tournament that they're legal. Whatever tournament I can go to that they're legal, I'm taking Marines.
So you're looking at late October, unless you can convince Jen Hammer to allow you to use them.
That would be tough because I would literally get the codex that morning and be like, "Is this legal?"
Well,
That's
you
fine.
could probably run them at the Fort Wayne tournament.
Oh, Rumble.
Yeah,
I think I'll
Rumble
run-
on the Rivers.
I think I'll do them at Du Bois. That seems so far though.
Do I think they're good? I do not think they're A tier. I think they are a good B tier army, not B plus, B tier. I think there are plenty of codexes that are better than Space Marines, even with all these new detachments. They have a trash problem and they have a maneuverability problem.
I'm gonna start a poll. Why does Brandon have so much hate in his heart?
It's because half his army's gone.
I mean,
He's not actually mad. He doesn't actually think they're not like B plus or A. He just doesn't want to have to buy new models because they're all legend now.
Well, the problem is you can't even get the models because they're still sold out everywhere. Gladiators have been sold out since January. Good
Just
luck trying to
already
find them.
I already
Before
own
that,
3D printer go burr. Never let legality or anything else hold you back. Kramer, what are your thoughts?
I think there's going to be something in there. I think you're going to see probably 4 solid B plus tier lists come out of this. I don't think it's going to be an A tier list. If there is, it'll be a very niche, like counter meta pick. 'Cause I feel like all of these are going to be good until you run into an opponent who's like, "Oh yes, I know how to deal with this. Get wrecked."
Hold on, we got a super chat coming in from Peaches the Destroyer. Hey Brad, I heard you like cheap chaff. Oh boy, I've got an army for you, and all you need to do is embrace the ows and spam Farizia Wolves and Skyclaws. You know, I think I
Now
can-
that is a real. Sorry, I think I'm like Space Wolves might break into the A minus.
Yes, dude, I'm thinking that you could run those either as Stormlance or Vanguard and make Space Wolves run like that. I'm in.
But for the most part, no. I'm thinking it's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a.
It's a fun B tier list, but you're gonna always lose one game to Eldar or Tau
You know
or
what?
Necrons.
I'm not
I don't think they have the.
fine.
I don't think
You
they have
know
the
what?
firepower to
I've
kill
now
Necrons.
changed it up. I'm gonna run Space Wolves in the next as soon as they're legal. In this codex is legal, and I'm still winning whenever that tournament is. And I'm gonna
Until
take.
he's gonna beat that the fun, what's it called, the Night Spinner, which just takes his entire plan and throws it in the trash can.
I am gonna beat that Night Spinner into another dimension of suck. I'm gonna charge it turn 1 after I infiltrate right up on top of him.
There's zero chance it's happening.
This is
I got 3 Night Spinners, and I'm going first. Slow. Moving on.
Oh man, your advance and charge really came into play when you can't no longer advance.
and that's why I took Vanguard, because it was -1 to hit. I never got. I'm weaving. I gotta matrix that shit, yo.
See, I agree with Jeremy. We always knew that Brad was a furry.
Oh man.
What do you think? What do you think, Michael? So Kramer, you think what?
Oh,
B
it's F
plus? Okay, so I think it's a strong B. I don't think it's winning tournaments on the regular. I think you're going to lose Eldar Tau Necrons. Michael's trolling me, so we're just going to ignore him.
Realistically, I do think it is a. I think majority of the detachments are in the B tier. I think that you have the tools to play the game and beat players who have Tau and Eldar with stuff like Vanguard. I think you just have enough tools with that detachment's stratagems and its army rule in general.
I would
It's
agree
not
with
an
you
easy game.
until I look at what Tau can do, and they just change their upgrade from 4+ invulnerable save to ignore hit modifiers, and say, yeah, this isn't whoop-de-doo, which is already something I've been looking into.
That's fair, and I get that concern, and I would have to play more on the table to really have like a full in-depth experience of that army. But I think it does have the tools.
I feel like Space Marines are going to be too expensive to be good, and I think come December, after a bunch of tournaments happen and they have a middling win rate, that's when they'll be reevaluated and have points adjustments. And I think December, January, they'll be in a better spot.
I can see that.
I'm making this work. Also, I love where we're going with this. Next question, of course, was the real question: if his my furry costume has a bow in its hair or not. I'm going with yes. Jesus.
100%.
Just the one? No.
I was just about to say.
There's one on
Ridiculous.
each ear.
It's for sure multiple
On the
bows.
tail too.
Why wouldn't there be a tail? Exactly. Peach of the Star coming with the $2 super chat. I think you're just jelly. You don't have Ows.
I actually do own 30 Frisian wolves I can put down on the table. So,
But you won't because you're afraid. Don't let fear rule your heart, Brandon. Don't let fear rule your heart.
no, I'm just gonna win a tournament with Tao, and then maybe I'll try Space Marines after that.
And in the words of the immortal Stu, Space Marine players are bad. Get good.
So, Brad, what do you think? So we have a B plus, B, Michael's F to A somewhere. What's yours?
I think the Codex is B. I think there's lists in there that are going to be A. I think the Codex is B, B plus, but I think that there's multiple A tier lists in this Codex. Write that down.
Okay.
I just think there is.
I'm willing to put money that Brad is not going to win his first tournament with Space Wolves.
I will bet you that I will sandwich bet you right now. Do you live near a Publix? I want a pub sub.
Speaking
I
of
mean, that means you have to visit me.
I have visited you.
Speaking of bets, though, shameless plug to our Discord. If a melee army does win the Michigan GT, I've heard that somebody in our Discord is going to win a Grey Knight army.
True story.
So you should join.
Sorry.
I need more details than who's playing the melee army.
Anyone, if anyone with melee wins, I'm so confident they will not win.
Exactly.
Because no one's going to take them, so this is a really good bet.
So we've got this insane things going on here. Apparently I'm a reverse werewolf. I'm only human form during a full moon. And Matt goes, Brad's going to find some weird RTT in Southern Ohio and roll it.
Now, he might make the trip to South Bend, Indiana, because they are known for their really high-quality tournaments.
Excellent
Brad's
terrain.
going to go to a GT in New Mexico and just win it all.
Hell
Brad
yeah.
Brad has to win a GT with us. So Brad has to win a GT with Space Marines, the first GT. And if he does, I'll buy him a sandwich.
It's going to be a good goddamn sandwich.
Full Italian.
I will play an elementary school 40K club RTT. Bring it, Timmy.
I mean, he'll be able to fit right in with the other kids. He's probably shorter than them.
I'm making this happen.
So what GT are you going to win?
Whatever the first one is.
Okay.
As
soon as it's legal,
what are
I'm
you
taking
bringing to Michigan GT?
I'm going to bring orcs. I was debating on Tau. I'm still debating on Tau because I have to
You're
put
not
going
going
to
to bring it because nobody is going to lend you the models to play the list you want to play.
I mean, literally, I can get those models instantaneously. I don't understand why you keep thinking this is a problem.
Because Jason's going to say no because he's not there to babysit.
Just
We paid him
believe.
off.
Just book a flight to Alaska and rock that scene.
Alaska actually is a pretty good scene because they have a lot of free
You know
talent
what?
on
We're
their
doing
hands.
clubbing steals for a sandwich. I'm not above this. You know what? I'm putting up one more poll. Start a poll. What army for, I can't even spell army, for Michigan GT, Tau, or Orcs? Start poll.
I'm just going to put orcs because you should play orcs and make the orc community proud.
I mean, there's a good chance to do.
And they're anti-Tau.
I do have to find a shit ton of knobs though, because my new list has 20 knobs, which I didn't bring before. So I need to make that happen.
Start with 85% orcs to 15% Tau.
Orcs used to be the popular choice.
Orcs are they've crushed. I've done this 3 times now, and I'm wondering what the decision is going to be. I'm going to bring Tau to Gemhammer then. So I'll bring orcs.
There you go.
Probably bring orcs to Michigan GT and Tau to Gemhammer. Tom was like telling me I should do it the opposite way around. Bring Tau to Michigan GT and then orcs to Gemhammer.
Gemhammer's the one down in Dayton, right?
It's in Dayton or Cincinnati. Yeah.
I'm the 10th edition orc dude. I just wanted something fun to play. Because at the beginning of 10th, when they ruined my Eldar, I just refused to play them. Ugh. Blech. Can you make those? Oh, Eloise is saying you guys can make me some knobs.
That's a big commitment.
How many knobs do you need, Brad?
20.
I'm pretty certain I have them.
Yes.
So if Brad wins his GT, are you giving a Grey Knights to him, Michael? Grey
I'm
Knights
not
army?
going to give them to Brad, but he can enter whatever like drawing I do for the army.
I'm so confused. How does this drawing actually work?
Okay, so I'm going to set up some like Google Doc form where you can put your name or some shit like that. And then people in the Discord, I'll give it like a week for people to sign up, and then I will randomly pick somebody from that, and they will win the army. I'll ship it to them. Full 2,000 points, painted, Grey Knights.
So Jake goes, why is Tau good now? They're probably they got point reductions, like crazy point reductions, and their natural predators went down.
Yeah. Wraith Knights, Custodes, stuff like that.
You know what, Corey? I will stand by that because I didn't say Index Eldar was B tier. I said the stuff they released was B tier. Damn it!
You said C tier, actually.
Yes.
You said it was the worst preview
It was
there
terrible. No, I didn't. I said
I was
next.
supposed to say, actually, I remember him wanting to fight for like F tier, if I remember correctly.
The stuff they showed was terrible in the reveal, and then they didn't tell you that they had a freaking bazooka as the thing they didn't reveal. They're like, hey man, here's these guardians, and this is pretty bad. You're like, yeah, this looks awful. They're like, oh yeah, we didn't show you the fact that we have John Wick next to us killing everybody, headshotting everybody.
Do you guys remember that moment where they revealed fire prisms and Brad said, "These are bad. Why would I ever take these?"
I also
Well,
didn't.
they only revealed the gun.
No, they
Oh,
revealed the
my
gun.
bad.
The unit.
My bad.
They did not reveal the unit where you could reroll everything, and I was like, oh, these are good, and I immediately took 3 of them. So yeah, again, it was the reveal that I didn't like. As soon as I saw the rest of the stuff, I was like, oh yeah, these guys are insane. Yeah, I know you guys are going to be super shocked, but orcs are running away with this.
84 to
Whoa.
16. Yeah.
Not shocked.
All right. Well, I'm going to switch over to Discord here. For anybody that wants to hang out in the Discord, I am doing a little bit of Michigan GT Fix My List kind of preview. If everybody wants to just hang out and just what are we taking? Why are we taking it? What is the terrain? And how can I optimize my army for said terrain? So this is the chance for all of you to promote the things you want to promote. Throw it out there.
All right.
Kramer,
Yeah,
you
that
falling
now.
asleep over there? Do you need a nap?
Oh,
buddy?
1,000%, yes.
Okay.
I was looking for fucking Codex leaks until like 4 in the morning. And I started getting texts from you guys like, hey, we're going on.
Well,
said,
I'll
literally
promote myself. So if you want to check out hobby stuff and where Brad and I discuss all the nerdy stuff like movie reviews, check out Still Frosty Gaming on YouTube, Instagram, or stillfrostygaming.com.
And OnlyFans.
That's coming soon. Don't release that teaser.
Well, now I have nothing to promote.
Nope.
Can't mention my OnlyFans now.
You should promote the play that you're going to be in.
Oh yes, you guys should all come down to Mayfield, Kentucky, and come see the Addams Family musical. I'll be performing as Lurch. Yeah, come see me.
I love everything going on about this. Please like, subscribe, check out the Patreon. Help us continue to make stuff before I have to live out in the streets. So until then, stay milky. Queens wave, everyone.